5জন concurrent Good afternoon, everybody. Let us wait for another 2 or 3 minutes so that our friends can join. So we have 10 right now. Let us wait for another 2 or 3 minutes. I hope all of you are well. Where are you, friends? Tell them to join, please. So Subho Vijaya to all of you. Actually, this is the Sdp class, but actually I have logged it from SB Sir's account. Okay, but still I have not got that number. Means only I can see 9 people here. Okay, so let us start the proceeding because after a long time we are doing this type of classes. So you may have forgotten almost all the things. So uh, let me show you the slide first, and then we can start. First of all, after a long time we're practicing all this verbal English part. So I hope some of you at least can remember some of the basic things which actually were taught in your previous classes. But whatever the practice set I have given, that is a set based on different exam papers. So, and you can see the pattern also. There are two types of patterns are there. You can see there. If you can follow this pattern, you can see first one, two, up to first one, two, and then one, two, almost 15, 16. You will have one pattern, and after that you will have to go for another pattern. But overall, the question is based on the construction of sentences and different types of usage of verbal English. So everything is included here. So this is not from one chapter. So this is a, you can say, the mixture of different things altogether. And I think all of you are acquainted with all these type of patterns because in your question paper, means in your exam paper, you see this type of patterns. Basically, especially when you are going for error correction, then normally you see the slashed way of doing those sentences, like question number 6 this way, this type of, that is very common to you. But sometimes we also face some questions based on correction that they will not give you any slash pattern, or they will not divide the sentence like this. They can give you some separate, separate parts, just like question number 1, 2, and 3. So they have actually given you the separate parts so that you can point out where the problem lies. And another problem is here in question number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You can see there is no option like no error, but in the instruction you can see something is written. If there are no errors, choose no error as your answer. That means this option or this instruction may not follow with the questions. So we are very sure that maximum number of questions will be no, there will be an error. Got it? So, but if we think about that, suppose there is no error option, but still we feel that yeah, there is an error here. So then you can mention no error here. But that is a rare chance. Let's see what happens. Then we can go for that. If we feel the sentence is correct, then we can also say no error. Okay. So let's start. For look at the question number 1 here. Look at this. I am talking about this one. Look at the sentence. It did not take me long, very long, to size up my fellow interviewers. First of all, when you read this sentence, just see what is the difference between interviewee and interviewer. I think all of you know this. Who is the interviewee? Who is the interviewee? That means the candidates who are going for interview, right? So, suppose you are a candidate, you are going for interview, you have to face that interview. So there are lots of fellow candidates are there. So they are talking about those, your fellow candidates. Now that is interviewing. Okay, another phrase you can see here. Look at this phrasal verb here. Size up. When you say size up, look at the red part. Size up. Do you know the meaning of this? Actually, when you say size up, that means to give some, what can I say? To give some concession, or sometimes, but there are two phases, like one is size up, SIZD, and another one is seize up, ACIZD. So the basic pattern, you have to know the basic difference between these two first. Otherwise, you cannot understand what is the difference. Because when you say size up something, that is to evaluate or estimate, any valuation, or you can say go for estimate or evaluation of something or someone. That is size up, right? But when you say seize, SEIZD, I think all of you know that. What is the meaning of seize? The meaning of seize is to actually stop, or you can say ban. When you say na, they have seized that, that means they have banned it or they have stopped it from working. So, if you think, it did not take me very long to seize up. If I say seize up here in place of size up, then I think the meaning will not come, because you cannot ban your fellow interviewees, right? So, but if I say size up, what I said, what is the meaning of size up? That is to estimate, or you can say evaluate. Sometimes when we go for interview, you know, sometimes there is a tendency from our part that what we do, we want to estimate our fellow candidates, our competitors, so that I can feel confident. I can feel confident enough. So we can do that. Sometimes we always evaluate our surrounding persons. So I can use here size up to evaluate my fellow interviewees. So that phrase is correctly written, because if I say seize up, that is very close, but seize up, the meaning of seize up is quite different. That is to ban or stop something from working. So if I cannot use that in this context, right? So size up, I think, is the best choice here. It's a good one. If I say size up, then I can evaluate or estimate my fellow interviews. So now the problem has started. As I said in the instruction, they are saying, if there are no errors, choose no error. But actually, they have not given that option no error. But look at the sentence here. It did not take me very long. That is quite correct. To size up my fellow interview, that is also correct. So what to do? So we cannot find out the error in option A, B, C, or D. Then we have to write separately, for this. What is the answer? That's that's correct. We have to write here. We have to write here. What we have to write? We have to write a no error for the sentence. Okay. So we can see. I can write here no error. So what will be the answer then? So no error. So no error will be our answer. That is our answer for question number 1, because whatever they have said, that is quite correct. No problem with that. Okay. So I think you have understood that, because what is the main problem here? You have to find out the basic difference between size and size only here. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Question number 2. Look at this. Ramesh, along with his children, was invited for the party in Ashoka Hall. First, when you discuss this sentence, first see what is the subject here, Ramesh, and another subject can be seen here, that is his children. But we are connecting Ramesh and his children using along with, right? So you are connecting three words here: Ramesh, his children. You are connecting these three with along with. Remember, in your previous classes, I think you heard, whenever you are using along with, together with as well as. In addition to this type of phrases, remember what I said, when we use along with, together with, in addition to, as well as, to connect two nouns. Look at the sentence here. We are connecting Ramesh and children, right? So we are connecting two nouns, so we can call it two subjects also, right? First subject is Ramesh and the second one is children. So whenever you are connecting these two subjects using along with, together with, as well as with, or in addition to, what was the rule? Remember, in your previous classes you learnt it, subject verb agreement. In that chapter, maybe you can remember, there was a rule. Whenever we connect two nouns using this type of phrases, we don't consider first and second together here. What we do, there is a rule. Whenever we connect two nouns using along with, together with, we always consider the first subject as the controller. That means whatever the verb you have to use, that should depend on the first subject only. So whatever you are connecting with the first subject, that may be more than one or more than maybe 1000, that doesn't matter here. So what is the first subject here? Ramesh. So according to rule, the verb should be singular because Ramesh is singular. Look at the verb here, was. So I think that is correct because Ramesh takes the verb was, not were. So was is correct. But another problem. So according to the rule, this part, up to this part, Ramesh along with his children was invited. Up to this part, the sentence has no problem. But look at the next part. For the party in Ashoka Hall. Is there any problem here? I think you can guess. Suppose you have a wedding ceremony, so you will be invited. So what you use after invite? For or to? When you say, sir, I am invited, dash the party. What do you say? For the party or to the party? I think you know this. Very, very correct. That is actually when you say invited, the appropriate preposition it takes not for actually. It takes to. No, you will see in the in those invitation paper or invitation letters, you will see you are cordially invited to the party. We don't say you are cordially invited for the party. But when you think in Bengali or Hindi, sometimes you may feel that here we should use for, but actually that is incorrect. So what to use? Invited to the party, right? So from this point, you can correct the sentence. So let us choose which option actually has the error. So which option? C, right? This is the option for you. Why? Because in C part they are saying invited for the. So I can change for to two, right? So I can change this for to two because if I keep that for, that will be incorrect because after invited the appropriate preposition is not for. The appropriate preposition is to. Got it? But remember what I said. When we connect two subjects using along with, together with, as well as, and then with, in addition to, we always say that the first subject will decide the verb. But there is an opposite rule of this. You should also remember that. What is the opposite rule? Remember, whenever we use other conjunctions like either or, then neither nor, not only but also, or, whenever you use these four conjunctions, remember there also you have to use two subjects or two nouns together or two pronouns together, right? If I say not only Ramesh but also his children, so you are connecting Ramesh and children. So here also we can imagine or we can assume that we are using two subjects here. But what is the rule here for this thing? Whenever you are using either or, neither not, not only but also, and or, we don't consider the first subject. Why? Because here we don't think the first subject as the controller of the sentence. So where we see in the second position, that is second subject, or the subject nearest to the verb. So that is the second subject that can decide the verb, right? So if I say that, suppose I give you one example, not only Ramesh but also his children, then what should I say? Was invited or were invited? Correct. So if I think children as the second subject here, so children is plural. So then we have to correct that was to were. WERE, that should be the correct answer for not only but also. Understood? So please make a note of it, because not only but also, either or, neither nor, they, whenever you use this type of conjunctions, you always consider the second subject as the controller of the sentence. Okay? I think you have got it. Thank you. And next one, let us move to the next one also. Look, this is a very easy one. Whenever whenever you use as soon as, I think in your daily life also, in your day-to-day life also, you use that phrase as soon as. Can you tell me what is the negative of as soon as? I think you know the negative of as soon as is, yes, no sooner than, right? Negative of as soon as is no sooner than, but the phrase says as soon as. But look at this question here, what they have given, as sooner as. So that is not the exact phrase, right? You cannot use this phrase like as sooner as. There is a wrongly written phrase. So what should I use? Obviously as soon as. Very easy one. So option is A, no doubt. So option is A, no problem with that. But my question is not like this. Question is very easy. But look, what I said. What is the negative of as soon as? As you said, no sooner, right? But there is a problem. Whenever you connect two events using no sooner than, remember, no sooner can be is followed by then, right? And hardly is followed by when. So whenever you follow that, whenever you use that no sooner, then what will happen? No sooner takes the reverse structure. What do you mean by reverse structure here? What do you mean by reverse structure here? Reverse structure means normally what is the sentence structure we use? That is subject, verb, and then object. But for reverse structure, what we use here, what we use here, remember the famous sentence, no sooner had I reached the station than the train left. Remember that very famous sentence. I think all of you studied that in your previous years, or your school also. Look at the structure. What they said. No sooner had I reached. Look at the structure. We are using had and then I. That is the subject. But normally what we use, I had reached, right? So that's why I called it reverse structure. Why reverse? Because you are not using subject plus verb. You are using verb and then subject. That is called partially reverse structure. Remember, whenever we start the sentence with no sooner, the construction should be reversed. Why? Because whenever we start with negative adverbs like no sooner, then the reverse structure is used. Not only no sooner, even with neither, even with not only, whenever you start a sentence with not only, then neither, or no sooner, no, we always follow the reverse structure of the sentence. So that is the difference, remember. But when we say as soon as, we don't follow the reverse structure. That is the big difference. Another one. Look at that. For two past events, we are using no sooner had I reached. So you are using perfect here, past perfect in the first part. In the second part, you are using then. After then, क्या हो रहा है? After that, you are using the train left. So that is simple past. So always remember, no sooner can take past perfect and then simple past together, no problem. But that sentence can also be written like no sooner did I reach. Why? Because if I use did, So with did, can I use the third form of the verb? No. What do we use? V1. That is the first form or the original form of the verb. So that's why if I say did, so no sooner did I reach, RESH, the station. Look at the structure. Previously I said no sooner had I reached. Now I am saying no sooner did I reach. So that is the difference. With did we can only use reach. So no sooner did I reach the station, the train, than the train left. But remember, in the second part we are not changing anything. Why? Because second part remains as it is. Okay? I think you have understood. So I know there is a problem regarding this because in other mode of class we can use the board and board, or you can see the file. But here we are having some problem. That's why I am just explaining all the things. I think you are understanding. Okay, let me do one thing. One minute. I think that will be easier for you. I can write here. I think this is visible also. Right? Okay. Now, what I was saying, let me write a structure first. What I said, remember, whenever you are using no sooner, you are using suppose no sooner. As I said, let me give you an example. As I said, let me begin actually make the structure. No sooner. Look at this. Negative. So reverse structure should be used. I am using past tense suppose. So no sooner had I. Okay. REACHED, reached. No sooner had I reached there, suppose there, not station. Anything I can use. No sooner had I reached there, then. So no sooner is always followed by then. Then, suppose he left. मतलब वो जा चुका था. There, then he left. That means, whenever you say, look at this sentence first. We can divide this sentence into two parts. No sooner had I reached there, that is one part, and the second part is then he left. Look at the structure. Had, and then subject, and then did be. But in normal sentence structure, we don't use this type of structure. But yes, whenever you start the sentence with negative adverb like no sooner, you always follow this type of structure. So no sooner had I reached there, than he left. Correct? So that is the basic difference between as soon as and no sooner. I think you can remember. Another thing, in place of no sooner, I can also use hardly. So I can give an oblique here. That will be easy for you to remember all these things together. Look at this. I can also use hardly here, but one change is actually mandatory here. If I say hardly, then in place of then, I, I have to use another connector. What is that? Very good. When I think you understand that, because I think all of you know this pattern, because hardly is followed by when and no sooner is followed by then. So I have given two obliques here, but that doesn't mean that I am just giving the meaning of no sooner here. No, actually, in place of no sooner, we can use hardly also. But if I want to use hardly, then that should be followed by when, not by then. Always remember this. I think this is a very very important. This is a very important question. Okay, let us move to the next one. I think you have understood. Question number 4. If I say, look at the sentence. If I was you, I would have first introduced him to the guests. When you say this type of pattern, if I was you, when you say that, right? You are. That is to imagine, right? When you say, if I were a bird, that is imaginary sentence. Remember that famous sentence? अगर मैं पंछी होता, हृदय पाखी होता, if I were a bird. Remember what was the structure there? I am using I were, W-E-R-E. That is very, very strange. Because after I, we don't use were, but for imaginary sense, remember, whatever subject you are using, you can use. That is singular subject or plural subject. For imaginary sentence, I am talking. For imaginary sentence, after the subject, we don't use was. We always use was in imaginary case. Always remember this. Subject may be singular, still we can use was. There is a special case for imaginary sentence. So if I say, if I was you, that is not correct here, because look at the meaning of the sentence. They're talking about an imaginary condition. मतलब अगर ये होता तो वो होता, but that has not happened, right? So obviously that could have been done or could have happened, but that has not happened. That's why we can say we are just imagining it. So whenever you imagine something like this, then we can say, if I were you, right? So was cannot be used. As I said, in imaginary condition, we don't use was. We use were, irrespective of the subjects. That means whatever subject you can use, only were can be used. No was can be used. Understood? So where is the problem? Option A. Okay, next one. Move to the next one. If I look at this sentence, some people's behavior teaches us not to behave in that way. Okay, it should be in small, obviously. Is it correct? Some people's behavior teaches us not to behave in that way. What is the problem? If I say some people's behavior teaches us not to behave in that way, that means what is the subject here? Can you tell me? People or behavior? I think that is correct. You have rightly understood. The subject is people's behavior. Why? Because you are saying some people's behavior teaches us. That means what is the main subject here? Behavior. And whose behavior is they are talking about? Some people's behavior. Okay. So for this type of subject, behavior, that is third person singular number, obviously. So you cannot say only teach, because I think all of you know that for third person singular number we add s or es with the verb. Okay, so some people's behavior teaches us cannot be used. Then what should I say? Yes, very good. Teach us. Teach us. Okay, so that's why when we say the subject is plural, then we can say teach. But here the subject is behavior, not people. So they are talking about people's behavior. So behavior is the subject. Uncountable noun. That's why the verb is always singular. Okay? Okay. Very good. Okay, next. Look, in question number 6, 7, 8, they have changed the pattern, but the instruction remains the same. Okay? Because here also you have to choose. You have to choose from the given options, but one sentence has been slashed this way. Okay, so let us move to the next question. You are saying, look at question number 6. I have been informed that Dr. Sinha visits Patna the following month. Can you tell me this sentence is correct or wrong? Yes. If you can remember, whenever you use whenever you use following month, that means next month. But when you use next month, that is what? That is future, because the next month has not come. So I have been informed that Dr. Sinha visits Patna the following month. That is, I can also write now the Dr. Sinha will visit Patna. I can also write yes or no. Right. So when you say I have been informed that Dr. Sinha visits Patna the following month, so you may say, sir, this is in future. Then how can I say visit only or visits? Very authentic question. But the problem is that you have to decide according to the subject, right? In the second part, what is the subject here? Dr. Sinha. And how many persons are there? Single, that is Dr. Sinha. So I can use will also. Will visit Patna in the following month. If I say that, then what will happen? Say you will say, sir, option C is incorrect because we should use future there. But remember, in the newspaper, suppose if you read the newspaper, you will see some headings like the PM comes to comes to suppose India, comes here for that. So then you can be it can be easier for you. Uh, Suppose if I say the PM comes here next week. Look at that. The PM comes here next week. Look at the sentence. I am saying next week. That is obviously future. So I am using comes. I am not using will come. I can also say will come. No problem with that. That the PM will come here next week. The PM, correct. But remember, for some fixed event in future or the event which has been fixed a long ago, we can use normal things like if I say uh, acha, where is the question? Okay, this one I am talking about is whenever you are talking about anything in future that is already fixed, then we can use simple present. Always remember this. क्यों? क्योंकि simple present can also denote future event that is already pre-planned. Like in newspaper, sometimes you see the caption or heading like you say Australia plays India next Sunday or next Monday, or you can give any date, any particular date on 10th or 11th, whatever. But look at that when you say when you say um, he will visit. So that is very clear meaning. But only for fixed event of future, we can use simple present. Okay, so that is a special use of simple present. So according to rule, I can also write here Dr. Sinha visits Patna the following month because that maybe he is planning for following month. So whatever he has planned, that is already fixed. So that's why visits can be correct. So we can get our answer here like no error. Understood? So that should be no error. Okay, very good. Next one. So the answer is no error. He is the best artist of the time, but unfortunately least recognized. Sorry, the least recognized. Okay. If I say that, look, I have deleted the list. Why? Let me show. He is the best artist. What is the degree here? Obviously superlative. Then you are saying he is the best artist of the time. Okay, but unfortunately the least recognized. So you are using two superlatives together. One is best and one is unleashed. Now, when the problem comes up like this, Means when you say superlative together, it's like the best artist and also the least recognized. Obviously, superlative should relate another superlative. Very good. So you are talking about the artist as the best. So obviously, unfortunately, no error should be recognized, right? But error है कि नहीं आपको सोचना है क्यों remember in your I think in your school days you read that chapter articles, right? Remember when we actually describe two things for the same person or singular person, we don't make those things plural. Like uh, if I say if I say he is the actor and politician. What do you mean? He is the actor and politician. Look at that. I am using only the first the, and in the second portion I am not using any article. So that was the rule. Because whenever you are talking about the same person and using two qualities, we can use article for the first one and we can omit article for the second one. So look at this sentence here. When you say the least recognized or when you say the best artist, both of these both of these actually indicate what? The same person, that is he. So, whenever you are discussing singular person, then we don't use two articles for the two things or two expressions. So, the best artist, this the is quite key, is quite possible or enough. So, we can delete the last the. That's why you can see here we have deleted this. Look at this. We have deleted this. Got it? That was easy one. Just remember we used only the first article when we use two nouns or two things to describe a single item or single person. Okay. Question number 8. He said that he felt nervous because a friend of his had given him a very bad news. What is the problem? Now, in our day-to-day English, we say this type of sentences. He said that he felt nervous because a friend of his, is it correct? Friend of his or him? When you say he's a friend of me or mine, obviously mine, because after you say of, we should say the possessive one, right? A friend of mine, we say. We don't say his. Got it? So he said that he felt nervous because a friend of his had given him a very bad news. Now tell me, news is countable or uncountable? I think you know news is not at all countable. We say news as always singular, uncountable sense. Then with news, should I use a? We should not. We should not. That's why when you say given him a very bad news, colloquially, or you can say in day-to-day English, we say okay, it's okay, it's okay. We say a with news, but actually, what is the correct expression? With news, we cannot say a news. Then what should I say? A piece of news. That is the best choice. If I say the a piece of news, that is correct. But if I say only a news, that should be incorrect. So got it? So you have problem where here a. So be careful, huh? Okay. Next one. Remember in your class first year or second year classes, you learned adjective qualifies a noun or pronoun or describes a noun or pronoun, and adverb modifies a verb. Okay. Look at the sentence there. Question number 9. The Americans speak differently. The Americans speak differently or different from us. I have already read differently. Why? If I say different, different is an adjective, right? So speak is the verb. So if I say speak different, that means the adjective is actually describing the verb speak, but that should not happen because adjective always describes a noun or pronoun. So what to say? The Americans speak adverb. What is the adverb of different? Ly. So Americans speak differently. Okay, let me give you another example. When you say I can speak fluent or I can speak fluently, which one? I think you have got. So after speak, we don't use adjective there. Okay, that's why we should say I can speak fluently. This one, or you can say speak differently. This one. Okay. So where is the problem? Here. Option B. Okay. Let us move to another question. That will be about the second last question for the day. He took to drinking. He took to drinking to lessen his mental worries. Is it correct? You are using to here, and still you are using drinking. Is it correct? When you say took to, that is a phrase. When you say took to, that is you are addicted. Remember. So here after took you are using to. So to is not infinitive here. What is that? Took to means to addicted to. You know addicted के बाद क्या होता है? To is the appropriate preposition. Same way in this sentence to is also preposition. Always remember to can be used in two ways. I am talking about TWO. Two ways. So 2 plus V1 that is one thing. 2 V1. Another one is 2 plus V1 plus ing. What is that? When you say 2 plus V1 plus ing, okay, let me do plus ing, that means I can give brackets, then you can understand. Look at this. This is another pattern. When we use V plus ing after 2, when 2 behaves like a preposition, please remember if 2 is preposition, then we can use this. But when 2 is infinitive, after 2 we only use V1, that is first form of the verb. Okay, so this is the choice you have. Now, as I said, 2 so 2 is in preposition here. So after preposition, we don't use V1 because preposition can be followed by noun, pronoun, or gerund. And what is gerund? V plus ing when behaves like a noun, it is called gerund. So what should I say? He took to drinking is absolutely correct. Sorry. Okay. So the sentence should be no error. Understood? So that is the answer. I think you have got it clearly, right? So let me discuss the last sentence of the day. Look, just before that, I discussed the difference between no sooner and as soon as. So they have given one sentence here. Let's see. No sooner did he see the traffic policeman, he wore seat belt. What is the problem? Look at the structure. I said no sooner did. So after did the V1 should be used. So V1 is using, no problem. The traffic policeman, that is the object, no problem. But what was the connector? No sooner is always followed by than. Can you find than here? No. So here we have to say than, right? Then the sentence can be correct. Got it? So I think you have understood all the questions I have discussed. But that was a one-way traffic. So what to do in YouTube Live? That is always one-way traffic. No problem. If you want, I can send this set to your group. Then you can practice because some questions are left out. You can also practice that question. And I will post your attendance link in your group. Okay. So I can post your link in your group. So till then, take care and stay safe. Okay, thank you.